Oh boy, did my last video strike some nerves. Let me tell you, this is the first time I've seen people foam through their mouths as profusely as the not so straight individuals brigading my No More Michael 2 review. In general, I've observed a lot worse, but never in the comments of one of my overviews. Little do those brats know, however, I've been on the internet since before many of them were even planned, so it's only natural for my keyboard warrior self-defense mechanism to kick in. And hear me out. You might have chosen the wrong one to fuck with, you fuckwits. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize to all the normal people watching what's about to become a gentle online spanking, but I felt the need I had to properly address some of the replies I got. In the meantime, you can enjoy the footage of an actual good game, unlike Tornbanner's latest sham. Now, onto the brain dead comments under my now second to last video. I'm gonna knock them off one by one, starting with the most recent response, which is this blumpkin of a man. There is no meme music he's written, it's just a broken game. Your wokeness rant is fully unjustified. Isn't that exactly what a woke person would say though? No follow-up to your statement, no evidence to back up your assumptions, meaning that you don't even know what woke means in the first place. If I were you, I would rather invest a few hours to learn about the downfall of gaming before typing anything, cause you clearly haven't experienced it, or stick to being a sobbing crackbaby making music for nobody. Maybe try and stay off the pipe and you'll be able to create something cohesive, unless your chemical imbalance hasn't already turned your brain into literal soup. In that case, sorry to be the bringer of bad news, but your condition might be reversible. Then we got a comment saying, "You're a gooner, mate. Sorry to tell you that." You know what, I'll take it. People enjoy their private time every now and then. That said, out of pure curiosity, I took a quick peek at what you enjoy watching, cause you know, everyone's favorite section on YouTube is public. Now, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I'm pretty sure getting off to chibi anime girls is the lowest a man could possibly sink, so practice what you preach, buddy. Here we've got an essay that on the surface might look like a summary of the perfect counter-arguments to the points I've made in my No More Hell 2 video. However, if you have any knack for bullshit recognition, after reading this guy's first sentence, you'll notice something very disturbing. He says, "Personally, I would give it more time to cook." Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you cook something for 10 years, it better be the best thing you'll ever taste. No More Michael 2 is not even undercooked. You see what I'm getting at? Are you actually one of those early access bozos who gets excited for a beta, gets scammed, and then overdoses on copium that the game will be fixed at some point in a few years? If you are, which you've actually proven with your very own opinion, you are part of the problem. I'm willing to give this game a month at best before it dies. And then, when the sales plummet so much so that the publisher will have to pay out of their own pockets to keep the service running, it won't be long before you see an apology letter from Torn Banner stating that you aren't gonna be able to play it ever again. Is that the future you're fighting for? Where every single game is just a paid trial period? Or in other words, early access? Get the fuck out of here with your blind support for money laundering studios and sellouts. And you absolute moron have the audacity to call me disrespectful while also failing to understand what I said in my video. Did you by any chance fail listening comprehension classes too? Cause coming to the realization that people are getting tired of culture wars isn't complaining, pal, but an observation followed by a warning about the foreseeable future. Also, what's with the nonsense you're spouting about societal norms in the Middle Ages? Everyone knows that sexual dimorphism is there for a purpose and has been the framework for fashion and artificial beauty enhancements for thousands of years. Nobody cares about some niche Eastern European trend that may or may not have been true actually, because believe it or not, I happen to have read a fair share of Eastern European literature and never once seen hunky, burly women being the author's inspiration. It's always a delicate, silky smooth skin, hardworking girl in the village that makes people stop doing what they're doing when they see her. According to your logic, are you being disrespectful and pathetic by not acknowledging the fact that a female can be capable and pretty at the same time? Even professional bodybuilders and MMA fighters who spend most of their time trying to be as muscular and manly as possible look 100 times better than those ambiguous half man half auntie creatures in the game. Let me divulge something which might be news to very few people, and you seem to be one of them. Girls like playing as beautiful characters too. In my time spent in Apex Legends, which I half regret by the way, I have met more girls playing Loba than all of the other characters combined. The rest were either Watson or Horizon. And yeah, while Apex is extremely woke as well, there's at least a few redeeming qualities keeping the game alive, for now. On the other hand, what's the selling point of No More Michael 2? The gameplay loop? The AI? The gunplay? Or the strikingly sexy character models? It's pretty clear that if that's your thought process, you're either gay or an insecure virgin who's only seen a naked woman through a peephole, quite possibly your muscular mom or your sister. But yeah, I really don't want to waste any more of my time with actual excuses for a man like you. Go teach your pseudoscience theory somewhere else in hopes somebody will believe you. What a joke. Then we can see the first good comment, I totally agree with this one, followed by what appears to be a late zoomer or an early gen alpha Timmy. He says, incels when they see a woman for the first time in their lives. It's a woman. Yeah, you wish, buddy. You know what, I'm not even gonna give you the spotlight for more than a few seconds. You're an actual ringworm and you don't deserve any more of my time. Now, I've come across another parasite and his initial comment doesn't really bother me all that much, apart from the fact that he's wrong about me being sad and coddled. Like, I'm literally a third worlder. Not sure where he got the coddled part from, maybe he's projecting, but whatever. He tried to be edgy, I'll give him that. His first sentence seems reasonable and then he goes on to accusing me of complaining about the lack of hot women in No More Me Hell 2, while also being able to identify some of the characters as females. I won't skip a few lines for now, because I noticed that this guy doesn't deny the fact that this game is woke. Pay close attention to the next sentence. It's not full-on woke like Dustborn though, those are his words. So, what constitutes a full-on woke game then? Because if I'm finding it hard to identify some of the characters as females, that's pretty woke to me, buddy. Take your mom for example, she may be 1 or 2 out of 10 on a good day, but I bet your father identified her as a woman so that your sorry ass can one day start typing Down syndrome claptrap under a video about the game you don't even care about. Do you have like a magnitude scale for wokeness? Like barely woke, medium woke, hella woke? Is Dustborn pretty much 10 on the scale while No More Me Hell 2 is like 4 or 5? I'm actually kinda curious to learn more about how you classify games, because you might be onto something. Maybe you should patent your new invention. Just imagine. Necros wokeness scale. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Let's go back a bit and dissect the following 3 sentences. No child zombies. That's because the ESRB will mark your game as adults only for depicting violence against children, making it barred from any form of mainstream advertising or public purchase. The PEGI system is even stricter for things like that. That's actually true, and I'm pretty sure No More Me Hell 2 is rated M for mature, or in other words, suitable for players who are 17 and above, but so is the Dead Space franchise, where you encounter toddlers and adolescent necromorphs. Deus Ex is rated PEGI 16 and you can straight up murder kid NPCs in it. What about Dying Light and being able to kill perfectly healthy kids, yet the game sold over 20 million copies? I believe if there is a will, there is also a way, even if that means going the extra mile to make the children look less human-like compared to the first game. But hey, you can't really expect from developers that can't even optimize their game for PCs alone to have any critical and creative vision, unlike the old dogs. So yeah, in terms of retardation, I don't think you score as high as the previous guys, but they'll still give you R12, meaning that teens can read what you've written and still not lose a critical number of IQ points by doing so. Right, that's another sane comment, we're gonna skip that. Then there's this fellow who appears to be a native English speaker, unlike me, yet completely missed my point when I mentioned the culture wars in games. I bet you're one of those nimrods who watched 6 minutes of the video with subtitles on, then rolled up a blunt cause you weren't feeling too well. Keep it up, buddy, you'll go far in life. Right below there's another dank hippie, and I'm starting to wonder how many of those are actually bots or maybe developers. And by developers I mean the 40 women walking around Torm Banner's office, holding Starbucks cups, writing a line of code every 4 hours, while the several actual programmers and designers are busting their asses off trying to get their slop in a playable state. But that's just modern work ethics for you, nothing new under the sun. The next one is yet another predictable copy-paste idiocy regarding the looks of the allegedly female responders, and actually I'm kinda starting to see where they're coming from. People are basically latching onto that one part of the video where I said that women would naturally put some makeup on out of pure instinct to look more breathable, but on second thought I don't believe anyone would ever wanna stick their thing in those absolute crocodiles, even if they wore paper bags on their heads. So yeah, maybe I should have said that instead. This kid went for minimum damage, maximum caution, wise choice. Right below his comment is what I can only describe as autism incarnate. I just can't be bothered with this one. Okay, now I think we have our next target locked on. Signalis fan ONG says, and by the way Signalis is most likely one of the best games that came out in 2022, however, it has also ushered in one of the cringiest fan bases you can possibly imagine, by virtue of telling a story about a lesbian couple, and naturally, the fanatics started blowing the homo stuff out of proportion and completely eradicate the subtlety in the lore. All it took was one hugging scene, and there is probably heaps of animated prawn about the protagonists. So yeah, that segue was basically a heads up to show you all what type of a cringe lord we're dealing with. Alright Signalis fan, if you are so smart, answer me this. Which characters do you find more attractive and why? The ones in your favorite game, or the ones in the game that's currently on the chopping board? Actually, consider this a rhetorical question because I already know the answer even if you decide to troll me for your own pleasure. I'm sure the designs of the replicas are in no way, shape or form meant to say a thing or two about the binary nature of a healthy human body, namely the female one. You know, the small delicate face, the red and black at the corner of their eyes, mimicking makeup by the way, the long spindle shaped legs, sometimes long enough to wrap around the planet twice, the narrow waists. Yeah, it's almost as if those actual cyborgs were created to be feminine on purpose, so the players care about them more when something happens to them. Need I mention the socialist dictatorship they had to live under before everything went to complete shit? I would actually choose a zombie apocalypse over the hell some of those units had to endure, while still clinging to life yet looking like pixelated Victoria's Secret models. So spare me your hypocrisy because I'm not part of your Signalis circle jerk. Did you by any chance come over from the No More Me Hell Discord channel, cause I can see a lot of Signalis weirdos in there. Won't be surprised if you're actually one of them, every now and then popping your head out of the imaginary world you live in just to type a shit take with your pencil fingers. What an actual sad troll you are. I'll give you a like for the game or word though, you've earned it. The next reply doesn't really make much sense, I'm gonna assume that's sarcasm, but maybe it isn't? Anyway, then we have MihoV2 saying that I should just play the original and the sequel will only get worse. Yeah, I know. That's why I have uninstalled No More Michael 2 and I never plan on playing it ever again, even if they completely overhaul it. It's a matter of dignity at this point. If a company lies to their potential customers by showcasing a clear-cut female in the trailer, then forcing me to choose between a bunch of transvestites, that's not a game worth supporting at all. Bait and switch means digging your own ditch. Trapstacks5119, I presume that's how I say his name, says you're better off playing the first No More Michael. The sequel is so trash, like are the WoW characters, that weak, that it takes literally 6 swings to the head with a lead pipe. A fucking lead pipe. To bash in some zombie head, yes, I get it, it's an RPG now, but why they had such good gameplay on the first? Why change? The first one is fair and fun. I had a stroke reading this, by the way. I'll try not to take too long to answer this, but what I think transpired was basically the No More Michael team was working on a game they desperately needed money for because it was taking too long. Then both Thorn Banner and Lever Games agreed on a mutually beneficial merger, which provides a secure salary for the roomies, and in exchange, Thorn Banner gets to have the ownership of what could have been a successful franchise. Somewhere along the way, complacency took over because, you know, nowadays you can pretty much fix people's games remotely, and also bank on the fact that she'll access media on YouTube and Twitch will grant you 20-30,000 people at launch, depending on the influencer though. That doesn't include the folk who are still playing the first game and have been for over a decade, and normally will be interested in the sequel to the game they've been grinding for so long. And then you have problems like censorship, as you saw with the zombies, pretty much all which had Caucasian features, but for some reason were rocking dreadlocks. I bet they were forced to change it because somebody from within said that there's too many black zombies and it's not okay to be violent against them even though they're no longer alive. I've also noticed that the feminine characters were also all undead, which leads me to believe that Lever Games might have had a different idea on what the female responder should look like initially, but again, somebody, I presume a woman or a non-binary individual, started ranting about objectifying women, which in turn led to scrapping the old models for, to put it nicely, stronger, more independent females. With all the side quests and overall stuff the devs had to change or adhere to, they might have begun running out of time. And that's basically how it went down. But take my word with a substantial pinch of salt, because those are just highly probable speculations. If there's an actual hardworking dev who's being held hostage by Thorn Banner right now, I'll be more than happy to discuss how much of what I said is true. Rest assured, I guarantee anonymity. Right, let's find some more teamies to dunk on. Okay, the next two people know what's up, so I'll skip them. Now take a look at this fella right here. He thinks he's smart, but I don't necessarily agree with him simply because turning gay isn't something that just happens while playing games. As far as I know, it requires a set of conditions to be met at a very early stage of your life, and judging by how much you want me to be gay, Mr. Tunes, with Z at the end, I believe the conditions were ripe for you to become one at some point in your development, so now you're desperately trying to find a boyfriend on YouTube of all places. Please, use Tinder or whatever dating app is popular nowadays, you're gonna hit a roadblock with me anyway. Not sure about the majority of people in the comment section though, you might actually have better luck with them judging by the replies and profile pictures. On to the next degenerate. Ballfondler794, that nickname speaks volumes by the way, probably fucking gagging on his dog's scrotum as we speak. So he says this video is worse than Starfield. Buddy, I don't think you even know what makes Starfield a bad game in the first place. I'm willing to put everything I have on the table right now. The your reply will be something along the lines of it's buggy and it had a horrible launch. You know, the same old shit your favorite Access Media streamers regurgitate over and over again. I bet you watch Coke Carnage, Asmongold, The Actman maybe, who else? Alana Pierce, and all these clowns that make their crowd of normies go wild when they mention they don't like the microtransactions in a 4 out of 10 game, but omit the fact that the game in question is 4 out of 10 in the first place. Just shut the fuck up, will ya? Go cry in the corner, you man-child. Woke and Broken, a comment by somebody whose name I can't really pronounce. I remember had a pretty spot on reply, but for some reason hit the edit button and got rid of like 90% of it. Just have the confidence, don't be afraid of some losers. What's the worst that can happen? Receive replies for a day or two? Big deal, say what you think, fire has to be fought with fire, not hesitation. Remember that. Nosferatu Wicked TTRPG thinks that woke is when ugly women no give boner. This is the only comment I can't find the proper reply to because I'm not sure if this sentence makes way too much sense or no sense at all, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Terry Watkins is also willing to enter a knife fight while holding a cock in his mouth for a weapon. It's kinda funny how none of your smartasses are actually smart, which logically would just make you an ass at this point, and keep on embarrassing yourselves while 99% of the gamer demographic is yearning for good looking women, and not just fine women, men as well. Just have a look at Resident Evil 5's player count and compare it to No More Michael 2. Actually, put it next to RE6. Arguably the worst Resident Evil game according to the fans, and you start to realize that sex appeal sells. The football coach faces you get off on the regular though, Not really. And the last 4 homos are actually again children engaging in a conversation, which almost looks like they still think they're in their little Discord lobby inside their tiny, secluded, back-scratching, non-binary community, waiting for more of their furry-loving friends to hop in Deep Rock Galactic. And just have a look at this clown with the green hair. I mean, the stereotypes are writing themselves. Nobody's perpetuating them cause nobody has to really. Now we have 3 more base comments to end on a good note. Those people know what's up. I do however think Kiwi Milk Decaf takes the crown for the best comment actually. He's the only one who was very close to making me laugh, so you deserve it, bro. As for the rest of you cocksuckers who brigade my videos from Discord and other Zoomer platforms, I sincerely hope you're not devs, cause it won't be long before you start looking for a new job. People like you are actually like one of those experiments, where you put a living frog in a pot and you start raising the heat little by little until the animal is finally boiled. The epitome of years upon years of indoctrination and one-sided narrative that has made you so oblivious to what's going on around you that you no longer even understand what you're saying. Your minds have become a literal collection of leftist colloquialisms and made-up words that you subconsciously use to defend your painfully flawed ideology in every piece of contemporary entertainment media. And the saddest part is that other people who are also unable to think for themselves are soaking in all that nonsense and morphing into what I call living NPCs. Your opinion matters as much as the opinion of tribal men on rocket building. So yeah, enjoy your totally non-woke title dying by the minute, and I'll be standing here laughing at you rabbit clowns, defending this DEI/bridge joke of a game. To those who are cool, keep it that way, and ignore all the red-nosed deniers who are desperately trying to save their propaganda that happens to have some form of a game in it. A bad one at that. Anyway, till next time and stay awesome. I'm out.